Welcome back to Tabletop Tactics, but today we're very excited because the awesome Bricky is joining us in the studio to talk about an all-new Warhammer project he's embarking upon, plus where we all think the game is headed and what the future might hold. I am James Jordan, aka The Bard, and today I am joined by Mr. Joe Pointing.
Well, thank you for having me.
Chaos Lord Beard.
Once again, here we are.
Pleasure. We're also joined by a very special guest, Mr. Bricky.
Hey, thank you for the ear holes.
Yeah, you're very welcome for the ear holes. Welcome to the UK.
Thank you. First time.
Yeah, first time. You came here yesterday. We were doing something very exciting, which we'll get onto in a minute. But you had your first taste of some elements of British culture.
Yes.
Including ham, egg, and chips.
I
at a
did.
Pub, which was fine.
It was not great. when I saw the two fried egg, fried is a bit of a strong term. And I saw it, I was like, oh, these are perfectly white. There's nothing on them.
It was absolutely food.
It was. You had nutritional value that my body appreciated at the max.
Yeah.
And then I had a dinner that was fantastic.
Yes.
That I will fully admit. And then I had Greg's, which I will hold my tongue as is apparently a national treasure, and I will say no more.
Yeah, it's probably best that we don't kick off with all the Greg's fans. It is a national staple. But yes, you are here for a very exciting reason, because you have a little project in the works.
Little.
Well, yes, I was going to say. And we just wanted to chat about kind of what this project is, how it came to be, and get people excited about it being on the horizon. And that's effectively why you're on this mad journey across effectively most of the Northern Hemisphere, I suppose. You're jumping around quite a lot of
decent amounts.
US and UK, man.
We're not going too far past Eastern Europe or nothing like that.
Exactly,
but even so, I do have one very, arguably two very important issues I've ran into with the UK so far.
Please.
And they both started this morning.
Okay.
One, J2O.
Yep.
Never seen this before in my entire life. Very curious. Looked delicious. You know, it's a little separated, but I'm sure we can fix that in a moment.
I got to shake it up.
Yeah, well, yeah, but there's a little bit of a problem with that to start with. But the first thing I noticed that despite this country having just a horrible alcoholism, I found no cap opener downstairs.
Yep.
And it was in the fridge. Tell me how cold that is.
Oh, okay. So the fridge, that's reasonably cold.
We're 2 for 2 lies currently this morning.
We do have a bottle opener. I actually don't know where it is. It is downstairs somewhere.
It's a bottle opener that doubles up as a 3-inch gauge.
So you can play Warhammer with it.
That's lovely.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
So they're probably all up here, actually.
Do you sell that anywhere, perchance?
We do. At
Really?
Tactics.tv.
Incredible. Wow. Fantastic. Get yourself one of those so you won't be in the same situation I will,
Yeah.
where I won't get to enjoy my J2O during this conversation.
We don't do
I
any
get to have
screw
water.
ups.
I'll tell you what, those go great with a Greg's sausage roll, actually. Do you know what's quite funny?
What's funny?
My bank account, right?
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to stop there.
One of the perks is 5% off Greg's.
Oh!
No. Oh
you
yeah,
get
no,
a
that's
free
it.
sausage roll.
You get a free sausage roll.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every single day.
Every day. So you can enjoy that delicious Greg's sausage roll as a UK citizen. With
Did
a
not
10
have
account.
a delicious Greg sausage roll. I had what do you call a bomb? A bomb?
Oh, like a bun. So it's like a bap, effectively.
A bap.
A bap is
What does that mean?
It's just like it's like
What a stupid country we live in.
What is this?
It
It's like
sounds
you
so
have like a
stupid.
bread roll with like breakfast items in it,
But what
right?
does BAP does it stand for something?
Right, okay, so bread is a whole thing in the UK. We're on a tangent already, I like this. So we have BAPs, we have cobs, we have rolls, we have
Roll's fun.
buns.
Go with the roll.
Yeah.
Go with the bun.
All effectively mean the same thing.
Oh.
BAPS is sort of like, you need to have a specific interior for it to be a BAP.
Yes.
A bacon BAP.
Yes, you do.
Sausage BAP.
It's mainly a breakfast item.
Why is it called a BAP?
I feel it evolves into a roll at lunchtime.
Beautiful and pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pleasant, yes.
Okay. Well, I will not be enjoying my J2O today. I will have the water instead. Thank you
You're
very
going to
much.
have one celebratorily after this.
I will have it afterwards. If you watch a lovely episode of Hero Hammer after this conversation, you may
Spot the
see
little
me
J2O.
with a J2O in my hand.
Do you have any other grievances you'd like to raise at this point?
The London airport was a little difficult getting out of.
Yeah. You got here so fast.
You did it really well. Like, fair play. Yeah.
Well, it was 8 in the morning, which was definitely a bit of a tough part for that. I can't wax any lyrical about that. I've been to Los Angeles airport and New York airport and so on, so that's not actually a big
LAX
deal.
is big, man.
It is enormous.
It's massive.
It is huge. But no, actually, no. So far, it's actually been quite lovely. I will say the inclement weather is a little strange, going from pure sun to heavy rainfall within an hour of each other.
Yeah.
That is a little strange.
Yeah.
But no, so far it's been lovely. Walking, everything is so walkable.
It is.
I can just go somewhere, 10 minutes, in and out, anything I need at any point in time. There's an Aldi right next to the hotel. It's beautiful. But no, so far it's actually been quite lovely. And all of you gentlemen made it significantly better.
Oh,
So
thanks,
you
man.
very
Likewise,
much.
it's so great having you here. Like, this has been in the works for a while, and we've really wanted to sort this out. And also, when you said about the project, which is the whole reason you are here, we were like, this sounds amazing. We'd love to have you. And hopefully we've given you some UK hospitality. We'll give you lots of J2Os later if you
excellent.
play your cards right. So yes, the project then.
Yes.
So like a quick, elevator pitch for, we don't give too much away, or we might want to.
I have no issues with it.
Sweet. Well, then, I guess, what is it? What's the plan with it? When is it? And how it came to be? Sort of lay it on us. Like, how did this come to pass?
It's gonna be really unfortunate if this sucks, Like if this comes out and it's just not very good. It's gonna be really unfortunate. So for the most part, I mean, as you may know from all this time of work, I normally do lots of gaming stuff.
Yes, of course.
Mainly gaming. I mean, obviously we have Rick Does Ridiculous, a podcast channel that I'm a part of, and then I did have Dice Check, which was battle reports for a while, but then I kind of petered out along with time, finances, the usual. Everything you can completely understand for why it would not work forever, at least on my side.
You ran out of J2Os.
Ran out, absolutely right. Never had any. If I had some, we may have ended up, doing a little bit better. So for the most part, it is mostly gaming. But I've had a couple of pretty decently successful Warhammer videos for my channel, particularly, and I really like the hobby. I have like 9 armies, which is not that many, I think, at this point, but it's lovely to play. I think more than anything, I think Warhammer has like a social aspect has really kind of brought it back up a little bit in my chest, especially post-COVID. It's just nice to play games with someone physically. I mean, you have to enter a social contract for hours, right? And then you talk about anything, the weather, the life, the jobs, etc. The one thing I know, because as a hobby in this whole thing, and especially with how I've done a lot of other video games, I don't tend to stick with one for a super long time. So I used to do a lot of League of Legends content back in the day, which was, I was a younger man and a foolish man. And lots of other games of that nature, and then I'll kind of like lose some interest in them at some point, and I don't want to end up having to make some kind of situation where I just kind of lose interest in Warhammer as a hobby, which I certainly might at some point, because it is a hobby and you wax and wane, and so I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a sort of like a final magnum opus type video, like a big project. And I think, as we all know, the biggest thing that makes difficulty when it comes to getting into the hobby is getting into the hobby.
Yes.
Even those people who have the financial means and time to get into it sometimes just don't, because they're like, where do I even start?
Yeah.
How do I even begin this whole process, right? How do I get into Warhammer? And for a while, that was the only 2 options. But pre-COVID, it was the die-hard lore podcast in the basement, and then a couple guys who played Dawn of War. That was the 2 players, right? And so there was no drawbridge to bring the 2 together. And since then, we've had a lot more people kind of bridge that gap, which is lovely. And I mean, I don't know how it has been in Britain, but like, I would argue that Warhammer as a property, even in the States, is becoming substantially more mainstream now.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Well, it was only recently, Games Workshop was now in the FTSE 500s.
Yeah.
So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of it's in top 500 companies in the UK.
Yeah.
Like, it's grown steadily, obviously, since the 80s, but certainly in the last 5-6 years, it really has spiked quite a lot. And I think that's partially down to like the Secret Level and the Astartes video, Henry Cavill's project, all this sort of stuff. It's becoming a bit more real, I suppose, and sort of a bit less niche. Unless you're sort of like part of the hobby, it's kind of hard to understand it. But when you're sort of being presented it in quite a magnificent way through all of these animations, I think that's what's changed the tide.
Quite a unique thing in Britain is like we have like the high street, right? Like as you say, all the towns are quite walkable. Like when you live in, even in a town centre, you can get everywhere. Games Workshop or Warhammer stores have kind of been on the high street for decades now. They're one of the few things that hasn't shut down. So I think they've gone from being this, what is that shop over there, to now kind of people are understanding, like, oh, I get it, it's the thing that Henry Cavill's associated to. Like, it's gone from being like, you know, your nan walks down the street and is like, what's that over there? To now kind of having even a little bit of a grasp of what it is. And it's great that they've kind of just kept on going, because there's few things like that on the high street, right? So,
absolutely, and I imagine that I mean, no doubt, I would argue a solid amount of stuff that's been due to the pandemic. You know, like everyone trapped inside means that what's really going to pass the time you're stuck inside? Painting. Yeah. I can tell you, I get 9 hours on one squad of guardsmen, and then I'll be set for the next 2 years. Yeah. And so obviously that, especially as you mentioned, it's a little bit more in the more media side of things, especially Secret Level, which personally I thought was fantastic. Yeah. I watched all of them and I kept saying, like, I swear it's not just me. The Warhammer one is the best one. Really I promise. Like, it's not. I know I'm biased, but it is the best one. Yes. Unreal Tournament was very, very good though. Was very good. Very cool. And then of course a couple of major high-profile games came out. I mean, Space Marine 2 is the obvious one. Yeah. Did gangbusters and sales. Yes. Very. I'd argue more casual appeal. It was because for me it reminded me just an old school Call of Duty campaign. Yeah. You know, just go forward, kill all the things, and then have like your big kind of high stakes, and then be done with it.
It played like a video game, if you know what I mean. You got in there and you played it. It was like, that was great.
It was a video game. Yeah. And like for some people who are a little bit more like kind of deeper in the trenches of the Warhammer world and lore, like Rogue Trader came out, which is far more like I'd say not necessarily engrossing, but all-encompassing, lots of aspects.
It's like a CRPG, isn't it? Like top-down kind of thing.
It came out after Baldur's Gate, which is a very unfortunate time frame. But, but you know, all those came out, all that stuff. So it's a lot more in the mainstream. We still haven't even gotten into the project. So
we can go on as many crazy tangents as we want.
Yes, well, please, because that's half of what I think I can do well with. And so the biggest thing is like, okay, I played Space Marine, I played maybe Rogue Trader, where these games are. I've seen the Games Workshop stores. I still don't know how to start. Yeah. Because and I'll be perfectly honest, Games Workshop has not made it particularly easy. I would a few more guides or things like that could be a little bit helpful. I will say when they release new codexes, they have a like a start collecting of faction article, which is I never really watched them because I know what to do, but I started reading them. I was like, oh, it's actually not too bad. I almost kind of wish it was out there more. And so this for me is basically it was going to be like a 3-hour-long video, just this huge project, but now it's gone in 3 separate, like 2 or so hour-long videos on getting into every aspect of the hobby. Nice. The end game guide to starting Warhammer 40k. Nice. So part 1 is everything lore, that initial push, online stuff. So, you know, like for a lot of us, we saw this cool big Space Marine guy and we looked up Space Marine Wiki. Yeah. And he just found things. He's like, why do these guys drink blood? Why are these guys all like, why are their eyes red and they love fire, and then all these guys all on motorcycles. Yeah. Then you get into that, and then after that you get into some of the books and then the Black Library, and you start reading or listening to them, and then you get into the games. And so the tour is kind of a, you know, I mean, there's a lot of folks who've been, you know, I started into Warhammer a little bit, like, because I played Dawn of War when I was a teenager, but I got really into it when I was about 17 when I worked at a Dairy Queen. So it's been about a little over 10 years, right? Yeah. And so while I haven't been quite as into it as a lot of you have, I wanted to kind of do a video where the end game, everyone is here, the Avengers Endgame thing, where I choose a very specific group of folks that I think have done a really good job in the hobby, who are very, very presentable in this light, this nature, and then, which is of course you gentlemen.
Thank you very much. That's very kind.
And bring them all into this project as they all have a little part to play. Yeah. So for the lore stuff, you know, I'm talking to Luton, I'm talking to people like Remembrancer, Westhammer. Yeah. A lot of the we've interviewed a couple of the authors at It's Ridiculous. We did Nate Crowley and Mike Brooks. Yes. Those two of them. We interviewed Richard Reed, one of the voice actors as well. Yeah. And then going post that, part 2 is buying, building, and painting. We had EV Miniature Rescues, Miniac, Gooberton Hobbies. We're talking to Luis coming up.
Yeah.
She has multiple multiple names. She has like Orc Guy and also another name for like her things.
Suggs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Suggs. I don't know which one is which, but she's also one we're talking to. And then for the playing of the game, I work with Play on Tabletop, Tabletop Titans, and Tactics, of course.
Yes.
We would talk to Most Critical for a bit, and then we want to do more of the tournament scene, which would be we talk to Art of War and a few others.
Yeah.
And that's the all-encompassing thing. And so you may not see him. He's behind the cameras right now. I'm working with a videographer from Philadelphia named Dan. He's
out to Dan.
Shout out to Dan.
Hello, Dan.
He's been absolute treasure this whole trip. Extremely helpful. His damn accent's rubbing off on me, and so it's been very, very good. And he's kind of doing a lot of the filmmaking to help for it. And that's the project. It's costing me a lot of money, but I must admit, I think after that, it's kind of this is the project. This is the grand video, how to get, because a lot of people will always tell me like, oh, I saw the every faction thing and I got into Drukhari.
Yeah.
So they were super cool because of this, and this. And it's like some people, I can't imagine would have been like if I had a bit more of a bespoke, cool, you like this thing? This is how you do it.
These are the next steps,
Yes,
right?
like this is how you walk to your LGS and buy your first battle line unit. Here's how you snip it and you glue it. What glue do you use? The whole thing. And then from there, I kind of just, I probably will make a Warhammer video like that on the main channel after that. But after that, I'm going to do the podcast and I'll play the games and stuff. But I kind of feel like nice, like this is the big one. I can just kind of relax from there and then do other stuff, you know?
Yeah, sweet, man.
Yeah, so I'm not like quitting like Warhammer or nothing like that, but it's definitely like a like this is the big piece.
Yeah.
And then like if everything else past that does like fine,
That's okay.
That's totally fine.
I think also the passion for this project really comes through. And I know you were saying about it yesterday, bearing in mind, like, just for context, you had flown all the way over here. You got like a train, then a car, arrived with all your gear. And I was just like, oh, hey, nice. Like, you like, I was like, head back, you like freshen up. You were like, oh, this is the project. And you were just so full of beans immediately. I was like, this is really exciting. Like, this is going to be something special, I think.
On 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
This is stop 5.
Nice.
So we've been to Reno, Minneapolis, Maine, Boston, and now we're in London.
Yeah.
We are in London, now we're not in London, but it's been...
in the country now.
Yes. And so it is stop 5. So I've been gone for about a little over about 2.5 weeks from a house, and I'll be, and I have a few more places to hit, and then... and we're continuing.
Sweet.
So it's been a time. So thank you for having me again.
You're very welcome.
This is the shirt.
Now,
listen,
I get very upset when people wear the same shirt as me.
Well, I was here first.
this very much isn't your fault. It's
fine.
you thing.
It's fine. You seem like a very nice person. It's okay.
I did arrive to the office.
I'm digging my fingernails into my knees as we speak, but it's okay.
Well, I mean, that's fine. It matches the cups on the back, and
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got cups yesterday. I've had some neck issues. I went to a masseuse. There you go.
just to make sure.
Sounds worse, doesn't it?
Yeah. Is your neck issues better or worse?
Yeah.
Well, the cupping was very, very vigorous.
I was in the office before you, so in reality, you are wearing my shirt.
That's very
That
true.
is true.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
Your apologies accepted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Beautiful
I'm
moment.
glad we got over this.
Yeah, absolutely. This
nice.
is important. So I'll buy dinner.
Today's video is brought to you thanks to the support from our on-demand members. It's due to their amazing support that we're able to produce shows just like this one. As well as supporting the channel, our members get access to at least 2 additional battle reports every week, as well as full codex reviews, painting tutorials, our weekly on-demand exclusive talk show, all of our competitive 40k league games, and so much more. And we add to our library of content every single week. You can join our on-demand community today by downloading our app or heading to the website. And right now we have an introductory offer for new customers, so there's never been a better time to join on demand. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to the show.
So I guess you do a lot of video game stuff.
I do.
Traditionally, but also you like Warhammer, clearly, like you said, like Dawn of War and stuff. We love video games. It's sort of, there's a shared, I guess, like sort of there's a love for a core IP or lore and things like that. And you think you can lose yourself in these mediums, right?
Yes.
So I think what what was it about Warhammer initially? Like, we've all got stories of like, you play it as a kid, then you disappear for a while, and then you come back around to it, right? Was that the kind of Warhammer journey for you getting into it? Or did you have a more of a no idea about it, and then bam, something came into your sort of sphere of understanding, and that was it?
A little bit. It was a little bit more relaxed. Do you have like, what do you call them here? PC cafes, PC mongs?
Oh, well, like an internet cafe.
Yeah, we play internet cafe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had some of those growing up where I was living, and I was really into RTS games growing up.
Okay,
I don't know why 9-year-old me was like, oh, StarCraft Brood War, but it was.
It was the one, right?
And so I was always looking for new ones, and I got really into Command and Conquer with some friends. But at these cafes, I would occasionally play Dawn of War. Dawn of War 2 at the time, and then played some Dawn of War 1, and I really enjoyed that. But I mean, then I played like Space Marine 1, and I was like, these are all pretty fun, but they're not like perfect for me. I don't love them.
Yeah.
And then I think eventually with time, about when I was 17, I worked at a Dairy Queen, and there my boss was really, really into Warhammer. And so occasionally we would talk about it, but one day it was Super Bowl Sunday, and we had 3 customers in an 8-hour shift. No one was there.
No one was there.
And so I was like, I don't really know much about this Warhammer thing. And he was like, excellent.
Yeah.
You are trapped here now. You are stuck with me.
10,000 years ago, the Horus heresy began.
You know, this guy called the Emperor. No, he went to the whiteboard, wrote down all the factions. He's like, starting with Necrons.
Okay, sweet.
That's his favorite faction.
Nice.
But so that's kind of how I got really big into it. My first army was Grey Knights.
Nice.
Because I was just like, oh, they're all wizards? Like, oh, that's all cool. And then I played some 7th edition. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. My 2 friends ran Eldar and Necrons. And that was
lovely.
And
rough
7th.
time. Yeah.
Very, very difficult. And so it wasn't particularly great. And I kind of jumped out of it after like 1 year in.
Yeah.
But then eventually a buddy of mine got really into board games. We were doing a board game channel, some old League of Legends friends I used to work with. And then I kind of said, doing a board game channel, I mean, should we try Warhammer out? I mean, that's pretty good. And then that's when Dice Check began.
Nice.
Got back into the game, and then made a little like, this Warhammer thing is cool. Maybe I'll make this like fun little faction thing just for no reason. And then that did quite well, and I kind of wish I'd spent more time just fact checking it to be a little bit better with that video. But hey, you can never tell which video is going to go on the algorithm, right? You never know.
Right, yeah.
And that's kind of how I got back into it. I will say Warhammer, I like a lot for a lot of reasons. But there's the two things, I think the main two, the reason why I gravitate towards it the most is one, I don't hold it on any kind of ceremony.
Okay.
I think Warhammer is incredibly stupid.
Yep.
It is ridiculous. Yep. It has gone through so many iterations. It has been managed very poorly and well before. It has had the tonal shifts have been astronomical between the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. It's every decade, because now we're in like hyper industrial metal grimdark. Like all those new codex covers are very like gross and really like kind of like harsh. Where then you go to like 90s glam rock sometimes, which I love the New Emperor's Children for, because they kind of bring that back.
The old like Noise Marine with
with the guitar and everything. Those are always great. And you get little glimpses of that. But because of that, Warhammer as a property is extremely varied in terms of its quality. And because of that, I don't consider it at all to be anything particularly like infallible. And so a book will come out, and if it's terrible, I'm like, fair enough. That's normal. Like, a new Eldar book, put that down. And then occasionally you'll get Lion, Son of the Forest, which is like one of the best 40k novels ever written.
Correct, right? Yeah.
And it just happens.
And
then it's like, here's Gaunt's Ghosts. And it's just this incredible series, and then there's, some other series, it's like, and because of that, I can kind of pick and choose. Someone a while ago called it Your Hammer. I think, which is like, you will most likely have a faction that you just think is stupid. This is dumb, I don't like them. Like, I don't like Tau very much.
Everyone has their I'm not a massive fan of the Leagues of Votan, I must say.
I like the Votan. I love like the corporate sci-fi.
And I like my fish people.
Sure, exactly. And there's bits like that. Like Zinch demons, not for me, not really. Nurgle demons though?
I'd be Nurgle if I had a choice.
I love Radagast is a cool guy.
He's a cool guy.
It's cool. And so because of that, people will say, Necrons are kind of dumb, but I love my orcs. And because you have that ability to kind of pick and choose, I think it's very nice, because then if something terrible comes out, you just don't care.
You can sort of look away.
You ignore it. You know, you're able to just ignore that thing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, sometimes something might be really big comes out that you're like, I don't really like that, or it is really good.
Yeah.
But then even so, you'll be over it in like 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Right?
And then the
yeah.
new thing will come out.
Yeah.
Secondarily, I really like just depressing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I feel you.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just watched like a movie that's just designed to make you sad. I'm like, cinema, fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I forget who said it. Someone said, art is to disturb the comforted and comfort the disturbed.
Yes. Yeah.
And so for me, I'm a very comforted person. I'm very happy. Life is great. I had a great upbringing. I with loving parents that are still together, and it's just a good relationship with my family. Like I'm very having a great life, and because of that, I want to go like watch just misery.
Really depressing films.
The universe needs balance all the time.
Exactly.
You can't be incredibly happy all the time.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you become a psychopath. So you need to sort of like balance it out.
Perfectly balanced, you know, on the little Thanos knife. You know?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. And so because of that, I get really into games like Frostpunk and this War of Mine, and like, I got, The Last of Us is a depressing game, but I was saying like back in 2012, when that came out, I was like, this is fantastic.
Great, yeah.
And so for Warhammer, I don't know, like reading Garvey Loken's story and just being like distraught by the third book. I'm like, this is just pure misery. Excellent, love it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And so like Warhammer has a ton of that, but it also is one of the most farcical universes I could ever see, and it plays it perfectly straight.
Yeah.
I
think we've discussed this before in terms of like the Henry Cavill project, which is like this,
whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever this is gonna be, is that we've just got like it will be so hard. There is a certain magic to Warhammer, like you say, of like it's bonkers. Like Space Marines spit acid. That's so
they can eat memories.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. There's things like that you forget are so intrinsically part of the lore that you're like, how are you gonna play that so straight outside of the confines of it being Warhammer? Do you know what I mean? Like where it is now, it's in its safety zone of like, well, we've built this world. Putting it into a new medium is always quite interesting. Like I was pleasantly surprised with how well Space Marine 2 did. Of like people could kind of get into it and were like, yeah, this is really fun. And I think it's because they had quite a like focused narrative, and that they were like, we're not going to do everything all in one go.
No,
we're going to try and keep it a little bit more focused. They're not going to introduce all these things all at once. And we'll probably brush the acid spitting and memory eating under the carpet for now, right?
Yeah, they had a little bit of that. Like, you occasionally would see like a journalist look at the cherubs in Space Marine 2 and be like, what in the heck is this? But in the occasional of those moments, and even just like, I remember when I played Dark Tide, and then you got to see like the Dark Tide loading messages. It's like, let your heart become hate.
Yes.
And if you don't understand Warhammer, like, what is this?
Happening?
Like, it's like sympathy is a sin.
Yeah.
What is going on? And like they have a bit of that. I mean, Space Marine was a very like classic story.
Yes.
And you kind of did realize you were kind of being the baddies.
Yes.
Just because, you had the chaplain just shouting litanies of horrible things at people. But past that, you were mostly, like, they didn't really lean too heavily in the, Space Marine and like the Imperium as this horrible regime,
Exactly.
They kind of just kept it mostly careful. I really liked just how they did with Secret Level.
Yes.
Because Secret Level, I think, is like perfect. Perfect. And it's super dark. There's almost no dialogue. It's incredible. But you get a few of those moments. Like I just liked how they didn't really tell you what they were dragging.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we don't want to lose a librarian for this mission, so just psych her in a box.
Yeah, exactly.
Bang, bam. And then he just dies immediately.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah.
It's like they just don't even try to protect him at all.
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
It's so funny to me. And so like that is perfect because they played it. There's no frills, no jokes, purely straight.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's just so funny when he pops out of the box. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, and I think that the spectacle of Warhammer kind of almost goes full circle. It then becomes fun again because it could be so bleak, but then you're like, this is pretty wild now. This is like, you learn like servitors as a concept is like horrifying.
Yes.
But it's also kind of stupid and wacky in its own way. So it kind of like takes the edge off of it's almost pushed to a limit where it becomes like farcical again. It's like, this is fun. This is okay.
Warhammer's almost sort of like a mixture between wrestling and cryptocurrency. Now bear with me for a second.
No, I'm so into this. Continue.
So are you a wrestling fan?
Like WWE type stuff?
Sure.
Not really.
Okay.
Should have had DK on this podcast. He would have known.
I continue to be the only person interested in Warhammer that ever watches any of this stuff. Warhammer Wrestling. So basically, wrestling is underlying is pretty excellent. There's like eras, right? You've got the Attitude Era, you've got the PG era.
Raw?
What?
That's an era?
No, Raw's
No, even I know that.
Come on.
Oh,
Raw's every Monday. It's the show.
yeah, give it the program.
Mondays. It's very silly, but can take itself very seriously sometimes, and sometimes it really doesn't. But on the other side, you've got cryptocurrency, which is incredibly volatile and also quite exciting. Yeah. So you sort of like mix those two things together, and where you have sort of like, and you can think about this in lots of different ways. Like you can go with like the overall umbrella feeling that they're trying to go with at a certain time of Warhammer Games Workshop.
Yeah, vibe-based matchmaking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like the volatility of it in terms of being like super hyper grimdark or not so much, and then super hyper excellent rules writing, and then sometimes not so much.
Yeah.
Really good decision making, sometimes not very much. You sort of like combine those two completely incompatible things together.
Just kind
And
of
it's
comes out.
Warhammer.
You know how sometimes you'll see like a sprinter or maybe some like long distance runner, and right when they're about to win, they kind of like do a little showboing. They kind of look at me, and then someone runs right past them, or they fall over. That's how I often think the handling of this going to be. Like, oh, we're getting a Warhammer app with digital rules, and then the monkey paw curls, right? And it's like buy all the codexes anyway.
So true.
It gets me sometimes, but no, that is like with wrestling, they treat it sometimes so seriously, but it's a joke because they treat it so seriously. I think about that so often when I play like certain Warhammer games, or even just like read some of the books. And you think about just the shenanigans they get up to. You know, you read like an orc book.
Exactly.
And then like you imagine it from the perspective of a human, and these like horrifying things just ripping people in half.
And then like, go get my teeth.
It's like, that's a nice shooty, Humie. It like rips it from his hands.
I even find it even like when you do like the heresy books, you've got these things like playing like super straight, and it'll be like the Lion versus Conrad Kurz or someone. The Lion's like, I will teach you the meaning of justice. Then Conrad Kurz is like, ha ha! Like, whee! And it does feel like a wrestling match of like, I'm a vampire. Like, oh, I've disappeared. And I'll tickle. Ooh, run away. It's so funny how it is. You're right. Like it was played straight, but then it has that bounceability and like that flexibility.
It's just something that, like, did you two read Lion, Son of the Forest?
Yeah, I read.
I haven't done that one yet.
Okay,
real good.
Slight spoilers, and apologies for this, but it won't be too bad. Slight spoilers, just in case. Like one of the things, the main villain is a chaos sorcerer. But the interesting thing is because the Lion's fighting all of his fallen, right? Because he's like, some of the main characters are fallen, but they're like kind of good fallen. They haven't turned chaos, but then the main villains are also fallen, but they have turned chaos. The main sorcerer, he does this thing where they like fly to his home planet, and there's a moon circling it, and the moon is just the bones of every person on that planet. That he just took from and like put him into a moon.
He made a moon.
He made a moon, and then it's like, I'm gonna like trap the lion, and like he's going to like hold him up in chains, and the chains are made of all of the iron in the blood of the populace of the planet, and it's perfectly said with no joking at all. It's just like, that's what that is. And you're like,
okay.
What is this?
Sweet,
I'm like laughing as I'm hearing it, but it's being taught so seriously.
I just imagine like some fallen like putting some blood through a sieve.
Yeah.
I hate this job. I wish I never fell.
Well, I've always thought I close second in my heart to the Blood Angels are the Dark Angels, because I love how like they're like, are we good? Are we bad? We're so secretive. We're so evil. Oh, then it's like, let me just quickly ask my little Jawa what he thinks we should do.
Who none of us know what this thing even is.
What do you think, Mystic Jawa?
No one's pulled the hood down. It's like, what is this?
Azrael's like, give me my sword. Houdini! Like, do you know what I mean? Thank you, Jawa. It's so weird. But like, they're there watching the Dark Shore.
Whatever. It's like, it's like, what's the new with the new World Eaters guy? Who's like, he has a bloodthirster in his head, right? Slaughterbound or whatever he is. It's just the idea that he's like, I'm gonna engage a bloodthirster and mental wits. I've won. And then I'm running into battle now. Who does that? Who thinks of that? The idea that willpower is a muscle.
Yeah.
Like, even the secret level thing, Titus just kind of said no.
Yeah.
And he wins. And that's like cool.
It is really cool. Yeah, I think they've got that flexibility in the writing to just still be able to kind of do that almost like Power Rangers-esque hair metal moments, if you know what I mean, when it's just like, even though you know it's so ridiculous, you're still there like, this is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember I had a bunch of complaints about Space Marine 2 in terms of its like story and stuff and some of its writing and things like that. But one of the ones I originally thought of when I played it was like, that's a Lord of Change, man. Like, how is Titus doing anything like this? Right? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then I guess he's just him.
Yeah.
He's just built different.
He is Titus.
And now I'm like, oh, well, I got to pull that complaint back because he just kind of is that way.
You know,
it's like, damn.
demon tries, he's like, no.
Nah, he's just like, nah. He's
Off
like,
I go.
just like runs at him and stabs him.
Like, does like the Tom Cruise run at him.
Tom-
But yeah, speaking of video games, I suppose, like, when you cover a lot of video game stuff, and I guess you cover some of it of like sort of lore things and also like playing the games.
All kinds of stuff.
How did you find then switching to something like doing battle reports when you're doing Dice Check, of covering a game, but from a purely kind of visual video game medium, to then doing it on like a tabletop scenario? Like, did you find it quite a different experience of doing something more like a battle report, or did you kind of approach it in a similar-ish vein, but just try and capture it differently?
I don't know, I mean, I think I kind of did it poorly, if I'm being honest. So what was the most recent upload on Dice Check? I mean, for Dice Check was not actually my project.
Yes.
I was just a guest.
Yeah.
So I just went there to play every so often, and it was a great time to play games. I think the reason Dice Check did so well is because we kind of just got drunk.
Yeah.
We just took a couple canned Mai Tais and just said, let's do it. And we rolled dice.
Oh, yeah, right.
There was a couple angles. It was like 2, maybe. I think that was it. It was wide and top, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. But it's kind of almost like capture, almost like couch co-op.
It was basically what it was,
yeah.
It was just like, hey, how do you it's a Saturday and you're bringing over your friends, we're playing a game.
Yeah.
And that was fun, though I'll be honest, I mean, once things changed a little bit and I tried to take over Dice Check as a full project, it lasted like 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't have the money or the time or the technical skill to pull this off. I am not a live production person. I do not know what I am doing.
Yeah.
And so that's why I didn't end up working out second time around.
Yeah.
But from that one, I don't know, it's a little bit of a difficult thing because in a sense, I did less on the making of the battle reports. I was just more on in a sense, talent.
Yeah, okay.
I was an actor more so.
Yeah.
And
in front of the camera more than behind.
Yeah, and in that case, it was easy because I played Warhammer and drank.
Dreamy. Yeah.
You make some good content that way.
Yeah,
it
does work.
It's not too tough.
Yeah.
But past that, no, I mean, for the most part, that was a lot of the work of Matt and all those kinds of folks. But for me, it was just an excuse to play my armies.
Exactly, right.
And I also got to write off my armies for my taxes because I was doing them for money and content.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
Woohoo! Yes. So in terms of 40k then, and like the game itself.
The tabletop game.
The tabletop game, yeah. Like, how have you played a lot of 10th edition?
Yes.
Like, yes. So we have had an interesting road with 10th edition. Like, I think initially, and I'm intrigued to see what you think as well. Like, when we were first like sort of road testing it, and then it came to be, we really liked how easy it was to play from an index perspective. We were like, sweet, we've got our indexes. It's from that, people getting into the hobby and experiencing this world that we all love. It felt like a really good way in because it was streamlined but not simple. Now as 10th has kind of expanded, I know I certainly feel like it feels like some of the, like we were saying with the lore, the wackadoo kind of crazy stuff hasn't really been put back in necessarily. And I wanted to get a sense from you, because obviously these guys hear us talk about this all the time.
Sure, of course.
What do you feel like kind of like the major like great things are about 10th, but what are some of the things you find are missing from 10th edition that you'd like to see maybe come back around in a future edition, or just be added in as like somewhat like almost like a patch, if you know what I mean?
So remember what I said earlier about the sprinter and the falling?
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of 10th as that. I think that for the most part, it's bizarre because you definitely had, I mean, we always joke there was the 2 writers, right?
Yeah.
You get the good or the bad book.
Yeah.
That was one of the big things there, right? And I think very often the thing that I run into with 10th is that some of the flavor, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, they had a new main games director or writer come in about like 9 months to a year ago. And since then, a lot has been adjusting there. I believe Grotmus was one of the major things that they helped bring in. And so it's been a little bit of changes in direction. I think 10th, from a base core standpoint is very, very good. I weirdly enough, I don't know your two thoughts on it. I actually am kind of okay with the free war gear now. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it now.
Okay.
Maybe you may not agree with me. However, I think the main issue is just the balancing of the war gear.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it.
Yeah, I miss being able to sort of like fine tune a list. I miss being like, I can give a plasma pistol to the guy. It's 2,000 points.
Yeah.
But also it's like the melter gun's worth the same as the bolter. That's weird.
Yes, it's a little strange on that one.
It's much quicker though.
It's much quicker. I like the quicker part of it. I think that if it's not war gear, it needs to be some other kind of upgrade. I am happy that enhancement stuff are now all points generated.
Yes.
That's a very good option.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they brought back war gear, I wouldn't really mind, honestly. Like I'm kind of indifferent, but I don't mind it now.
Yeah.
The main thing I really, I like the leader. I think leaders is a great thing. I think I need fewer when this is leading a unit stuff though. Because I read it again. Like, oh, right, okay. So I don't get this thing.
Yeah.
That's annoying me. I also. Okay, this is the one biggest change besides adding the rules in the app and stuff like that. Is one thing I would really want. Please. Can we? So you know how you get all your units, and then before the game starts, you attach them to the units.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
Yep.
Get rid of that. No one does that anyway. You put your stuff. You know what your stuff is going to. Put all of your leaders into different things and give the leaders points values based on what they're joining.
Yes, that's a really good idea. I like that.
Because a Technomancer on a 20-man warrior blob should not cost what you would assume a Technomancer in 6 Wraiths would then cost.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
It can be 65 with the race, he should be 50 with the warriors. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
No one does the thing anyway.
Yes.
You know.
I think that's a great
I didn't even
idea.
know that was a thing.
Yeah. You put your list together and then you assign your leaders before the game starts. I know. A Lord of Contagion in Death Shroud is very different than a Lord of Contagion elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
And so for that's one thing I think would solve many problems with character balancing.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it'd be kind of fun. Maybe my Judiciary goes in 5 Assault Intercessors. That's not too expensive. You know?
Exactly. And then you would actually almost get that war gear thing back of if your list is slightly over or under, you could swap out what unit they join. And then kind of bring it around a bit. Yeah, right.
I will say the biggest issue I ran into with 10th is nothing involving the playing of the game. I think it's a lot more streamlined. I think the biggest issue you run into is the fact that you lost a bit of the flavor from 9th.
Yeah.
However, the flavor also came in regards to more rules.
Yes.
And so adding flavor normally means adding rules, and that creates its own issue of bloat again.
Yeah.
I think, especially lately, the new detachments they've been doing are helping with the flavor a lot.
100%.
Reaper's Wager for Jukari is one of the coolest things I have ever seen.
Yeah.
The concept is incredible. I have like 60 Tyranid Warriors because of the Tyranid Warrior one.
Yeah.
Because it's just so stupid to me and I love it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the Tau got the Borkin detachment back.
Yeah.
That's
With all the
super great.
experimental weapons, yeah.
That's super fun. I mean, more DACA was a problem, but like, what's the other DACA one? The Blood Axe one.
The Big Red Battle one?
No, that's great.
Oh,
though.
the Tactical Brigade.
Tactical Brigade.
Yeah.
I love Tactical Brigade. It's super hilarious
Orders.
to me. Orders. Get stuck in.
Yeah.
That's your order.
Yeah.
That is all lovely. And I think as they're putting the detachments out, they're getting more of that stuff. And I think the flavor comes in a little bit more based on how you run them.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, depending on certain rules, I think for example, the new Death Guard is very, very flavorful.
Yeah.
You picking your contagions and you're debilitating, and like they have so many rules that like crumble your enemy's stuff.
Yes.
Movement slows and no
Yeah.
advances and all those kinds of things. And I was gonna say, instead of making them hit really hard, they also do that.
Yes.
But it's more in the relation to them.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So I do like that a lot. I will say the only other thing that I would really enjoy in 10th, because I think the flavor is pretty good. They're adding more of it back in. I'm very happy about that. My only issue is that not everyone is created equal. I think Dark Pacts is the coolest rule in the whole game.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, what an awesome concept.
Yeah.
Dark Pacts, right? Shadow of Chaos,
Yeah.
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 it's okay. Martial Katas,
Yeah.
The Shadow of Chaos is especially weird now with the asymmetric deployments. It's
Yes.
like this arrow shape is the Shadow of Chaos, and those rectangles are in the Shadow of Chaos. It's like these shadows are weird, very symmetrical shadows,
Coming out of the
but maybe
wall.
that's chaos.
Yeah.
it's chaos. But then you also have like the Eldar Agile tokens.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good rule. They're not all created equal. They still can't get GSC right. It's a very hard one.
Yeah.
Bless them.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, you play with 2,400 points.
Yeah.
But even so, so that stuff, they're working on it from there. But from a game point of view, I love playing 10th. I find it extremely enjoyable.
Yeah.
My kingdom for bullet points.
Yeah.
My kingdom for 2CP fight on death, bullet points, if have not fought before.
Yes. Yeah.
And then some have this big paragraph, just thing, 2 bullet points.
Yeah. I feel like they tie themselves in knots just from the almost how they write the rules.
Yes.
Sometimes, because it's like you read it and no wonder it causes either friction between players or like confusion, because it's like legalese. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're reading a legal document, like if, however, you have not also already, perchance, done this thing. It's like, wait, what? Like, do you know what I mean? It's so confusing. It's like you say bullet point of like,
absolutely.
There you go. These are the rules.
Reroll to hits, fight phase.
Yeah.
In range of objective marker.
Yeah.
Or reroll once to hit, if not. Like, done.
Exactly.
My kingdom for bullet points. But for the most part, I do like 10th. I played a lot of it. I think it's a very, very fun time. I think the balance is mostly pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, we played in 8th and 9th and 7th. They were worse.
Yeah.
100%. You do, because it's more balanced, you do lose a bit of flavor,
Yeah.
which I think they are bringing back a bit with detachments.
Yeah.
And I would say the new codexes are mostly pretty good at this. Death Guard especially. I don't know about some of the other new codexes, but maybe we will at some point.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it's that thing of I really like how 10th plays. It's just because, like you said, with 9th, there's flavour everywhere. But you almost drowned in flavour.
Yes.
Because you're like, it's too much. I'm full. I don't want any
They're all
more.
new rules.
Exactly. It's like everything was phrased different. Like you get sustained hits, but here it would be exploding on 6s, or this would be that. Whereas now they've condensed a lot of that, and that I love. But I think you're right with the Grotma stuff, or these new detachments are kind of sprinkling in these extra layers of flavour, so you can play the way you want to play, right? And if you have this vision for your army, then great, you've got a way of playing that. And I think that is hopefully what we'll see more of. And I hope they keep the kind of core structure. They don't do another redo, so to speak.
I would hope so. I think if they did 11th, they already did bring in bullet points. It was called Deep Strike and Feel No Pain and Sustain Hits and Lethal Hits instead of the text stating it on every single ability. As cool as it was to see custodians have From Golden Light They Come.
Yeah.
It's just Deep Strike.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, it's cool, but that. And so, it's. We're almost there.
We're nearly there.
We're very close to being there.
I just hope 11th is a refinement of 10th.
Yes.
And not. I can't see them doing a redo because they've just redone an index. So I can't see it being a massive change. But if they do anything, they can just do a fully digital rule set, which everyone can enjoy without having to buy. So today, if I went to Games Workshop, I have to buy a Dark Angels Codex or an Abmech Codex, which is completely wrong to get the correct rules on my phone.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I will pay $10, maybe even more, a month just for all of it open.
Yeah, 100%.
All of it open. Because the thing is, what I don't understand the most is that I'm not going to buy that codex. By doing this, you are not getting me to buy the codex to do so.
Not at all.
You are just getting me not to buy the codex to do so.
Yeah.
But I will. So it is literally just more money they could make.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
what's upsetting me because for some, I like codexes in the sense that I like the beautiful book.
It's like a collector's item, right?
Absolutely, and that's what I thought they were doing with the new Chaos ones. They had this big fancy book. They had this coin thing. And I was like, if you're going to do that, that's fine. And if the codexes maybe just have 3 months free of the $10 a month subscription, right? Great. And especially, did any of you either read the Emperor's Children Codex, the new one? Did you go through it at all?
The front bit?
No, just the artwork.
Yeah, fluff and stuff.
Did you notice like every 3 pages they had some new drug?
Yeah. It's so many.
There's some explanation of the drug there or something.
Ground down bone marrow that's injected through the eyeball.
Yes, it turns into like crystalline eyeballs. So like that stuff is what I want in those books.
Exactly, right,
just more drugs.
More drugs in my books. To round us out then,
Sure.
Just as a final little question, if you have to pick, what is your favourite 40k faction and why?
I go between
Yeah, it's a tough one,
It's hard because the Night Lords are very up there. The Night Lords Legion the 3 books turned me into an absolute sycophant.
Yeah.
And those kinds of things. They are so enjoyable. I love how just awful they are.
Yeah.
They're so terrible. And it kind of makes it fun because they're so against like Ultramarines because it's like, oh, they're all gangsters.
Yeah.
However, if I had to pick, it's a toss-up between Sisters and Guard.
Nice. Okay.
I love this. The Sisters redo in, was it 8th, I think?
Must have been now, yeah.
8th or maybe 9th was the early one, where they had a whole new box and everything, and it was so good. All the new models are gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think they've really come into their own rules-wise.
Yes.
They're very specific. They're very different.
Yes.
However, I'm always just a Guard guy at heart.
Yeah, man.
Just internally, there's something about I always just love rolling up to a table and be like, okay, Angron has how many attacks? 18. 20 guards.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Fix bayonets.
Yeah. Just like the one time I sent in 10 Cadians into Magnus because Magnus had 1 wound and he just happened to misroll a 2.
Yeah.
That's the guardsman feeling, right? 60 points, go.
There's something about doing it for the Guard as well.
Do it for the Guard, and also just sometimes like, oh no, he killed my Lehman Rust tank. I've got 4 more.
Yeah.
Cool. It's like, all right, it's an old joke me and my friends used to say where, you say, is this still the Dorn?
Yeah.
You're on your 9th gun. Is this still the Dorn? It's like, hold on, I got 2 more rolls.
Don't forget my stubber.
100 killer missile coming in. It's on a 4. Oh, that's a lethal. I'm running combined arms.
Oh, it's great. Well, thank you so much.
No,
for
absolutely.
doing this, dude. This has been great. I think you mentioned it briefly earlier, but we will get you a bottle opener for your JT.
Yes, thank you.
And second, we are filming a Hero Hammer game with you, which, based on when this comes out, might already be available for you guys. So do check that out. And then, when can we expect the project thing, or is it still TBD?
August.
Nice. Okay.
Maybe.
A very tepid August, maybe.
Tepid August. Probably around then. I mean, we have maybe 20 terabytes of footage to go through. So no, probably I imagine August. It'll be on Bricky.
Nice.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Someone on Instagram took Bricky, so that's Bricky IG.
No.
Dare they? But we got Bricky everywhere else.
It's the one.
Just the one.
Bricky,
But no, probably around August, give or take. But of course, we'll have Hero Hammer here. Thank you again so much. I'm very excited for that.
Oh, it's gonna be good, man.
Thank you for the conversations as well.
Thank you for the conversation.
It feels good to talk a lot more about tabletop because I normally have so much lore stuff. I'm always on Poor Hammer podcast whenever they have a data slate. And so it's always they're lovely. And so it's always fun to talk about all just the random stuff and talk about projections and ideas and stuff. It gets exciting.
It's great fun. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You've come a long way, and we're doing lots of really fun stuff. So it's just great having you here. Thank you to you guys for watching at home. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, if you do want to check stuff out on demand, please do head over to tabletoptactic.tv because we've got loads of this kind of stuff going on over there. Thank you to Chaos Lord Beards.
Oh, thank you.
I've been James Jordan, aka The Bard. We have been Tabletop Tactics, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.
Peace out, bro.
JT words for everyone.
Great sausage rolls.